Hi folks, this is James and
Emily
from the British Family, and we're currently on lockdown because of this coronavirus thing, and we thought it'd be a good idea to do a little video because I think a lot of people that were interested in what we did some time ago probably haven't seen us for a very long time, years in fact. So we just thought we'd do a quick video because a lot of the stuff that we learnt and experienced at the time actually seems to be becoming slightly more relevant now. So we thought we would put this video together, and possibly with a view to doing some more videos and try and do a weekly video just on some of our plans and where we're going and some of the things that we're doing and so on and so forth. So if you're not subscribed already, then please do. But here we go. Bit of a recap. Do you want to tell them what we did?
Okay, so Christmas 2012, I made the suggestion to James that we have a go at just buying our Christmas presents from people who were local producers, manufacturers, those who make in the UK. He took that on board. We managed that actually quite successfully. And we made the decision at the start of 2013 to see if we could extend that to the whole year and actually see whether, as a young family, we could exist on only products that were made, grown, manufactured in the UK. And we made it.
Yeah, so we started 1st of January 2013 and experienced a crazy year, in fact. We were followed by the BBC Breakfast team for that 12-month period. We were in the national press. We were front page of some national press. Crazy times. And it's nothing that we asked for at that point, but we learnt a lot, we experienced a lot. There were highs and there were lows, and you know, now with the power of hindsight, we can probably discuss some of those less emotionally than we could have done previously. High points, well, I mean, there's certainly plenty. The British Family Fair.
That was amazing. We had over 10,000 people descend on Westerham in Kent, and loads and loads of amazing manufacturers from kind of big household names like Lush, right down to the kind of artisanal jewellery makers and all sorts else. We had animals. It was brilliant. But more than anything, it really gave people an idea of what actually is still made in the UK and how they could support their local businesses.
So our plan with the fair originally was about 3 or 4 months in, we recognised that there was some momentum behind what we were doing. It kind of seemed to capture people's imagination that there was this young family trying to buy only British stuff at the time. And this was all pre-Brexit, you know, I mean, it's where again, you know, there's some relevance to what we did with that kind of Brexit debate. And so with the fair, what we were trying to do is we started off with, let's have a little party for these people, the people that were meeting the manufacturers, and just kind of have a bit of a celebration. And it grew from there. Like everything we seem to do, it all seems to kind of grow from a small idea into something crazy. So the first year we had, I think it was about 4,000 people descend on a big field in Westerham, and it truly was a magical day. Again, that was covered by the BBC Breakfast team, and there was just something really beautiful about it. And we did it for a further 2 years after that, so we did it for 3 years in total. And every year it kind of lost its sheen a little bit. While the event grew, and the amount of effort it took for us as a family, and probably a shout out to Steve and the guys at Lincoln West, the events company that held us pull this together. I mean, it was a big thing to bring together all these exhibitors, all these bands, and this live stage of music. It was a crazy thing for us to administrate with full-time jobs and so on and so forth. Like I say, the first year was a wonderful thing, and in hindsight, I don't know what you think, but in hindsight, we should probably have stopped there. But I don't know about you, but I felt a pressure from people that were watching what we were doing to try and kind of build some momentum, build a movement behind it.
Yeah, I think lots of people had the opinion that obviously we would be making lots of money out of it, or somehow that we were monetising the work that we were doing, and actually it wasn't the case. You know, everything we were doing because we felt really passionate about it, and actually I think still do.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So it was very much a labour of love, and I think when the love started to dwindle and the expectations rose, it was time to sensibly say enough's enough.
Yeah. Another high point is, I have mixed feelings about it, but another high point, I'm going to class it as a high point, is the Made in Britain mark. I think those people that look in the shops and, you know, TV adverts, I've seen it, the backs of the Vitara vans, the little Made in Britain logo.
If you're not sure what it looks like, check here.
Are we going to put it up there?
We are.
Okay, fine. Giving me more editing to do. Fantastic. Basically, one thing I noticed early on is I wondered why there wasn't such a mark that people could put on their goods to say this is made in Britain. You know, Australia has it, America has it, and various other countries have it, and the UK doesn't, because we don't seem to have that kind of same level of pride in kind of stuff that is produced out of the UK. There were a number of dispersed groups that were trying to push their own agendas, and I think my biggest role in that was actually getting these groups together and coordinate an effort to bring something to market, and it's still an ongoing business. It still exists, and I personally don't have anything to do with it anymore, and there's a long story about why that is the case. But when I look at the mark, I'm very proud to have been involved in it, because I'm pretty sure that it wouldn't exist without my input in it. And with all these things, you know, there's my truth, there's somebody else's truth, and there's the reality in between. You know, it's taken me a while, and reading between the lines of this, it's taken me a while to kind of really appreciate what I did there. And I suppose that's probably our ongoing legacy of this project, is that movement still exists. Also, a high point is meeting some fantastic businesses, some really passionate people. You know, when I say that as a country we are not necessarily proud anymore of our manufacturing heritage and what still exists there, maybe I'm wrong, because
I think we're very British about it.
Yeah.
I think that's how it is. We don't like to celebrate ourselves in perhaps the same way that other countries are quite happy to do so, and I think was probably the thing that came out of it more than anything, is that we need to be a little bit less stiff upper lip about things and be a bit more prepared to say, I am British, I'm proud of being British, and I'm proud of what I make here because it's brilliant. And I think there is definitely much more of that, and that's probably one of the biggest changes we've seen from our kind of end of year 2013 up until this point. There is a huge push now towards really celebrating Britain and being British, and that has been really fantastic to see. So that's not something that I think we can say we had any hand in, but is definitely something that we are pleased to start seeing much more of.
Yeah, I think when we were doing this project, I think it did feel like there was a little bit of a kind of groundswell of something, and possibly that we were the poster family for it, and you know that we kind of bore the pressure of that, I suppose, to I think to some extent to our own detriment. But yeah, we did meet a lot of fantastic people. I think a highlight of mine was Steelite, the ceramic plate manufacturers up there in where were they? They're Stoke-on-Trent. Stoke-on-Trent. So we went to go and visit them. Had a fantastic tour around their factory. What was a highlight for you?
I think probably two from our fantastic Easter trip that we did sort of around the south and southwest of Britain. So the first one would be meeting Roger Saul from Sharpen Park, who is an absolute gentleman.
Lovely guy.
And really so enthusiastic about what he does with trying to reintroduce spelt into the British diet, which is something that has been grown in Britain for thousands of years, and is really, really good for you and really tasty. So that was definitely a highlight for me.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think the other sort of is almost on the other end of the spectrum was meeting the guys at Sheepland, who are, I think, near Cheddar, and they make slippers and shoes completely by hand from sheepskin.
Somebody also I think deserves an honourable mention for his support is Will King from King of Shaves. Again, fantastic business. I think he's sold it since, but a real passionate entrepreneur, and somebody that I think has inspired me just by kind of meeting him. So, and there's countless people that we met, and we're very privileged to have spent time in the company of some of these people. So that's a definite highlight. I think one of the lows, although while exciting at the time, is some of the kind of TV stuff. It is extremely intrusive. Press people are extremely demanding, but adversely it was exciting, and part of it is why part of that kind of attention is why it's probably taken so long to make this video, is that we just needed time to kind of get away from all that, because it's fun, but when your phone is ringing 3 or 4 times a day from press people wanting comment about this, that, and the other, wanting you to get to studios for this, that, and it's really hard work. And again, we felt a pressure that we needed to kind of the more people we met that were passionate about this cause, the more pressure that we put on ourselves to put ourselves out there and try to create something. So that's probably a fair summary of the year. Let's do a conclusion of what we learnt out of a year of buying British. Well, the summary is that it is possible. It's not advisable.
With a young family, there were sort of certain things that we took as absolute must-haves: nappies, batteries for plastic toys that we promised that we would never have, and all sorts of the sort of luxury thing. You wouldn't take pasta as a luxury, but at the end of that year, buying pasta was a real luxury. A little bit like it is now, funnily enough.
Yeah, that's true.
It's sort of there were truths that I suddenly kind of went, oh yes, I have to get the pasta machine back out again. But it's not that it's not possible. It absolutely is possible, and I think it's becoming more possible. But it's a very different lifestyle to the kind of consumeristic nature that I think we have all become quite used to.
What's interesting now is that obviously we're on lockdown, and the supermarkets are crazy. Some of the things that we experienced in that year we're experiencing again. Just the seasonality of fruit and veg and fresh ingredients. something that we used to. We try to adhere to, not having strawberries in the middle of winter as an extreme example. But we're noticing now that some of the fruit and veg that is easily accessible or inexpensive is that stuff that is seasonally grown. And that idea of being kind of more self-reliant, make, do, amend. I mean, it's all stuff that we did for that 12 months, and arguably are things that we've carried forward over the last what is it?
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah, I think it really shaped us, and it's allowed you to start your business.
Yeah.
It's allowed me to start mine, and it has given us the belief that actually, if you try hard at something, you can do whatever it is that you're passionate about.
I mean, that's an interesting one, is that, we've always just classed ourselves as an ordinary British family, and I think that's still the case. But during that 12 months, and it kind of became a 2-year circus really for us, what we achieved, I'm very proud of. I look back and we experienced such great things. And like Emily says, it has changed our lives, the fabric of our lives, our ideology. It's a complete different thing. As Emily said, I started my little business. It's very much a sideline, but as a manufacturer of myself, making leather goods in the UK. And Emily, in terms of offering courses and to explain what you do.
Yeah, well, I mean, my business is very much teaching others, passing on the skills and things that, again, perhaps don't necessarily happen in families. And we've almost sort of skipped that generation where my gran taught me how to sew, my gran on my other side taught me how to knit, and those things have just always been a part of my life. And so it's trying to invigorate that and pass that on to sort of others around me, use my skills as a teacher to hopefully convey things in as best way as I can, and get people actually making things for themselves, whether it's in the kitchen, whether it's at the sewing machine, whether it's out in the garden, using the things that are around them.
Yeah, I mean, it's strange, but our ideology probably wouldn't be too distinct now, I suppose, from a kind of 90s, 50s kind of thinking, that kind of make, do, amend, that kind of making stuff for yourself more. I mean, it's very much a part of our lives now. And we've got plans for the future which involve more of that. We want to kind of build our own kind of homesteading lifestyle, and we are putting in place things that will allow us to do that. Looking at our kind of personal finances and trying to see how we can reduce our outgoings. These are all things that that we are actively doing in order to try and change the focus of our lives. And this all stems from that kernel of an idea in late 2012. It's been a roller coaster.
Just to add in, because he does exist now, for those of you who did know us within that context of the British family back in 2013, 2014, we have a new addition. His name's Pippin. He is now 4. So we go forwards as a family of 4 with, I think, excitement.
Yeah.
I think that's where we go. We are really excited about what can happen, and would love to hear any of your comments about things that you might want to ask us about our time, or if there are videos that you think you would like us to make about the way we do things. But get in touch. If you can comment down below, that's great. Otherwise on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Yeah,
we'd love to hear from some of those literally thousands of people that contacted us at that time. Comment below, because we'd love to get in touch with some of those people. So that's it for now. Subscribe. We're going to produce more content, and see you soon.